that they have a difficult time. And everybody's different, but I'm telling you, with these diamonds that that we see, or that we know, it goes above and beyond. They actually it's an amazing experience. And if a kid works with a diamond, they're going to get the full effect of what they need. All their needs will be met the way they're supposed to be met. And you can't learn that in school. You can't get that education for that. It's just a natural thing that comes along. And I stand by that. I think that's I think now, putting it out there, I can say it with assurance that there's a lot of people there who are not diamonds. And they are working with kids. And if you're listening to this and you're working with kids, if you agree with what we're saying, you're a diamond. If you don't agree with what we're saying, then you're probably not going to get it. And it's not to offend anybody. It's just we're just talking about being a diamond. And it's a wonderful experience when you're able to be a diamond and work with people, because it's not about the pay, it's not about the recognition, it's not about exploiting.
Exactly, it's not about exploiting. I think that's the most important thing. We try to fulfill our job and be there for these students. For me, right. These students, right? And I feel like they recognize diamonds. They come back, they look for the diamond,
That's
they're
right.
like, oh no, this person's going to help me. And
Yes.
they know where to go,
Yes.
And there could be several people. There could be several people doing the exact same thing you're doing. But when they recognize the one person who they can trust and who they can just open up to without being judged,
Right.
that's who they're going to go to.
Yes. Because, as a diamond, I have nothing to gain, but there's an inner drive to serve.
Yes.
There's an inner drive to serve. I've been at a restaurant. I've been to places, and the diamonds come out and they go above and beyond. They bring you the extra. They do extra things. From mechanics to housekeepers to just a lot of things, like people like that. And then even at a higher level, I've had professors who were diamonds. They go way above and beyond. Just in every aspect, you see them, but they're not many.
Yes.
They're not many. You're just gonna have to look for them. Yes. So, this is the Real Podcast of Dallas, reuniting with the one and only Maria.
I was going to say Miss Maria.
And Miss Maria, for the ones that are listening, I'm sure you're going to share this with the kids you work with.
Yes, definitely.
So
I will.
I'm gonna kind of talk to them, if that's okay. Yes, you have a diamond working with you. Her name is Miss Maria, and she's 100% genuine. What you see is what you get. No additives, no preservatives. All natural, like the Real Podcast of Dallas, right, Maria?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, and you're very lucky to have her with you, and amazing. Her heart's amazing, and the work that she has done has been monumental. And again, she's here on the Real Podcast of Dallas. And if this is your first time listening to it, this is the only drug-free podcast where we make drug-free cool again. Right, Maria?
Yes, drug-free cool again, please.
Yeah. You're having a hard time with that?
Yes, I
seeing
am.
a lot of
actually.
that?
No, it's been like I've had moments where I'm just like I used to work at a treatment center, so like I've been around it. I know, I recognize it, and I think that's what makes it even more difficult. That I see it, I recognize it, and at the same time, I'm so limited to the things that I can do for them.
Right.
If that makes sense, I'm trying to do the best that I can, to be understanding, to be there for them.
Right.
And always, open it, like throwing it out there, like, hey, how do you feel about receiving additional help,
Right.
services outside of the school services and things like that.
Yes.
But they don't understand it now. And I will say that it's students that I've been able to build a relationship with, so they'll
Right.
come back to me, and I know that when they're right, when they're able to accept it, when they're able to commit,
Right.
they'll ask for it because they know I've mentioned it, they know I've put it out there, and I really do trust that.
Yeah. And as a diamond, I mean, you can't make decisions for them, but you can just guide them.
Exactly.
For those of you that are listening, and maybe you've been around Miss Maria or are around Miss Maria, I will tell you that in our experience with addiction, you're going to have a lot of problems as a teen. You're going to have a lot of problems growing up as an adult. You're going to have to face a lot of things, and with an addiction, it makes it more difficult. It's hard to see clear with an addiction. And without an addiction, again, it's going to be difficult. There's going to be obstacles. The addiction only adds a bigger obstacle in your way. And if you don't think that you're going to be addicted, you think that, hey, it's natural from the earth, ask yourself the question, why do you have to have it? Ask yourself the question is, why is it that I can't be without it? And why do I need a chemical in my body to make me feel better? You agree, Miss Maria?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. I know they're listening. I know that they now they have a second person that has told them
Yes.
what I told them, because everything you're saying exactly what I have said
Of
to them.
course. We're diamonds. Yes.
So I can see their little eyes just like
Yeah.
opening up wide and bright.
Yeah, it's only going to make it more difficult, and then you start getting a criminal record, and it makes it even worse. And then you get into this hole that you never get out of. Very difficult. And opportunities are there for you guys that are, under 18. But those of you that are going to be 18 and over, you're pretty much done. People don't
And I
help.
think
Uh-huh.
yes, and also with my students, I feel like a lot of them, I still feel like they're so young. They don't understand that they're
Right,
actually growing into adulthood while they're in where they're at.
right.
I do work at a high school, so I'm working with 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and I'm like, hey, you're like a year or two away from being your own adult. The one
Right.
that will be responsible for you for forever, the rest of your
Yes.
life. Because for a lot of them, it's like they still, there's still parents who are responsible for them.
Right.
And for a lot of them, parents might continue to be responsible for them even after 18 or 19. But at the same time, it's like, hey, this is the time where you have to start making, your own decisions and becoming more responsible, because you will be that adult soon.
Yes. And again, the choices you make now will have dire consequences if they're not healthy choices. And I know you talked to them about healthy choices.
Yes, talk to them. They need it.
Yeah. So healthy choices are choices that are going to be better for you. They're going to make things easier for you. Now, you may not see it now. You may not see that the choice I make today, that's a healthy choice. I choose not to go out with the friends that are going to skip. I choose not to go smoke with these people. I choose, all these negative things. I choose not to do them. It may not feel good at the time. They may make fun of you, but in the long run, they benefit you. In the long run, there's a consequence that I don't have to deal with the consequences of being locked up. I don't have the consequences of going to court. I don't have the consequences of sacrificing my grades. Because you're talking to a person that took 5 years to finish high school. You know that, Maria, right?
Yeah.
It took me 5 years to finish high school for the bad choices that I made. And when I got to my senior year, I had to take so many classes, and I almost quit. I almost gave up. But I didn't want to be like everybody else. So I took all the classes that I needed, and I graduated. But it wasn't easy, and it was costly because I had to pay for them. So, and I did that without drugs. I messed my life up without drugs. So with drugs, imagine, I wouldn't have had the desire to come out of it. I would have blamed everybody else and said that it's everybody's fault but mine. And I'm sure you hear that a lot.
Yes. there's some that I'm trying to help get back on track because they've already fallen behind.
Right.
And so I'm like, do you want to graduate with your class? Do you want to graduate with the kids you went to school in elementary and middle school with, And I have some that are behind, several classes. Like I've had students who are behind 6 classes, and I'm like, hey, the opportunity is there for you. They're given a class that allows them to catch up at their own pace while they're still in high school. And
an opportunity, right?
Yes, the opportunity. I'm like, the opportunity is there. So it's all up to you whether you're going to take it and take advantage of it, or you're just going to continue to fall behind.
Right.
Luckily, I've had several that after I have conversations with them about their attendance, their grades, their classes that they're behind, they're able to say, okay, miss, I'm going to start doing these additional classes that I have to do to graduate.
Right.
And I do give them the opportunity to come into the room that I'm in and say, hey, they'll come and say, hey, Ms. Gallegos, I need help with this class. And we're working on it together for some of my students that, are behind with their attendance. Because of attendance, it's like, hey, all you got to do is take advantage of the program because there's a program called AFC, or attendance for credit. So what they have to do is that they have to sign off a contract, commit to it, and they're given projects that they have to do in order to be able to get the credit for the bad attendance that they've had so far.
Yeah.
They need encouragement. They need a lot of encouragement. They need to know that these programs are set to help them graduate, and you have to say it that way, in order so that they're able to see what the end goal is.
Right. And it's not easy. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to, put the fun to the side, and I said fun, not phone, and the phone, put those to the side and really focus on your education. Your education is very valuable. How you see your education, if you see it as a burden, if you see it as a boring, if you see it, then it's going to become just that. But if you start seeing it as an outlet for your life, an outlet to get you out of the environment that you're in, so you can move forward, then it becomes that. It's just your perspective. And here at the Real Podcast of Dallas, see how I promote that, Maria? That's what we do, and this is what the whole podcast was done for. And I've had people tell me, why don't you talk about other things? Why don't you do a show on this and that? Because I believe that we are not doing any favors to teens anymore, adolescents, preteens. I think that there's too many shows focusing on what's in, what's out, moving forward and talking about people, but there's no one that's building diamonds. And I think that you and I and Cindy have been dedicated to speaking to kids and really bringing out the diamonds in them. Those of you listening, you're diamonds. You're valuable. You're worth something. In your darkest hour, you're worth something. Somebody needs you, and and I'm sure you feel the same, because we've talked about this many times. You see people, you see them wasting away. You see good talent.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And it's hard for us. It's like watching a train wreck. And I'm not calling you guys a train wreck, but it feels like it. It feels like you're watching something so valuable falling apart. And it's difficult.
And we don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen, and you don't want that to happen, especially when we're talking about, the youth that we work with.
Yes.
It's like, hey, it's okay. I always tell them, it's okay to make mistakes. You already made the mistake. It's fine. You learn from it.
Hey, we're human.
Can we just learn from it and, move forward and not make that same mistake a second time or third time?
And when they say, well, you just don't understand, Mr. Leo and Miss Maria, my parents, my family, the way I was brought up, you don't know where I live, and you don't know what I have to go through, the struggles, the this, the that. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We do.
We do know the struggles.
I always tell him, you have no idea. I know more than you think.
The struggles, we know they're real. The struggles, we know, but it makes it worse when you have an addiction. It makes it worse without an education. And if you're listening to this, if Miss Maria is giving you access to this